Hey, here are 5 stupid things I've noticed about the Pope. The papal conclave. When the Pope dies, the College of Cardinals convenes in the Sistine Chapel and votes to elect a new Pope from among its number. After every ballot, they send smoke signals out to those waiting eagerly outside. Black smoke means no new Pope has been chosen. White smoke means they've picked their pontiff, and if you have a better way of selecting the Vicar of Christ, I'd sure as fuck like to hear it. Maybe this little melodrama played better in the past, but today I just find it silly and sad. The ritual of an obsolete institution straining to present some sense of mystery and intrigue to distract everybody from the fact that it outlived its usefulness hundreds of years ago. Regal Names. Speaking of silly and sad, when you get elected Pope, you get to choose a new name for yourself. You know, when we did this as kids, it was kind of cute, in theory. When grown men do it, not so much. And making matters worse is how uncreative all of the recent popes have been in choosing their regnal names. I mean, back in the old days, popes had all kinds of hilarious names, like Innocent and Pious and Dionysius. I bet that guy was a lot of fun. And Hilarious. Yes, there was actually a pope named Hilarious, but these last 50 years or so, the popes seem like they've just given up trying. I mean, Pope John the 23rd, yeah, real creative guy. Or Pope John Paul, he formed his name just by taking the names of the previous 2 guys. And the guy who succeeded him, John Paul II. Where'd he come up with that one? And now we've got Benedict XVI, because 15 Benedicts clearly was not enough. We've had 16 Benedicts, 16 Gregorys, 23 popes named John, and yet only 3 popes named Calixtus. Which I guess makes sense now that I think about it. I mean, Calixtus is much more suited to an emperor than a pope. Papal Infallibility. When the Pope teaches ex cathedra, that is, from the chair, on matters of morality or church doctrine, he cannot be mistaken. He's always right. Who decided that? Well, Jesus, obviously, but in real life it was Pope Pius IX and the First Vatican Council, which he convened and over which he presided, who defined it as a matter of church dogma in 1870. Defining yourself and everyone else who will ever have your job as being infallible. Humility was one of their cardinal virtues, even back in 1870, wasn't it? Well, I guess that only applies to people who weren't personally selected by God to lead his one true church. I mean, after that, why even bother being humble, right? He's recognized as a head of state. The Vatican is recognized as a sovereign state, and the Pope is the head of that state, and why again? Why is the Catholic Church the only religious organization to have its very own country? That just seems like a really bad idea. It creates all kinds of problems. For instance, it makes it a lot more difficult to arrest the head of state if he's suspected of having committed horrible crimes. Which reminds me, the current Pope should be in fucking prison. Yeah, he should. He's the leader and a longtime member of an organization that has worked diligently for decades to hide the fact that thousands of its priests have been accused of committing sex crimes against children. It is a crime of almost unthinkable monstrosity, committed on a scale that covers the entire planet and reaches back through the centuries. It was an open secret for generations, and there is documentation proving that Joseph Ratzinger, the man who today sits as Pope Benedict XVI, knew about the abuses and participated in the cover-up. The shame of it is that he's 85 years old, and as Christopher Hitchens said when Jerry Falwell died, there isn't a hell for him to go to. You can't throw this cocksucker in a hole deep enough to suit me. The hardest part is only picking 5. Catch you next time.